Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, what did you know? Did you know that actually the Ukrainians are not able to push the Russians back and actually the Russians are not retreating? Well, if you knew that, that's wrong, Kadyrov says. So let's read this article from Ukrainska Pravda. And it is from September 14th, 2022. This is the title. And I'm quoting, "Russia isn't retreating in the slightest. It is just a subtlety of warfare," Kadyrov said. All right, let's see what arguments he brings to support his claim, right? Ramzan Kadyrov, the pro-Russian leader of Chechnya, has claimed that the retreat of Russian forces in Kharkiv Oblast was, quote-unquote, fake news and a Western provocation. And I'm quoting Mr. Kadyrov. "I'm here to calm down the most restless and skeptical individuals." So if you're one of those guys, this is your guy. "Within the course of the special military operation, we are not retreating from any part of the front. This is all fake news and Western provocations. Don't let them fool you." Well, Kadyrov, we are trying, but we can't always be so enlightened. There are such notions as tactics and strategy, tell us about, Kadyrov, which are more subtle in our forces. Ooh, okay. Our generals, by the way, Kadyrov, did you hear the news? They were changed, released, who graduated from military academies, are familiar with the subtleties of warfare and let the opponent do what is beneficial for us. In order to destroy enemy units, we have to use different techniques. Spread their forces across the front line, draw them off, encircle them, make them go to the battlefield, or lure them into a trap. The army command is masterfully combining all these methods." Well, Mr. Kadyrov, you are a genius. Because, I'm a genius with you. We're together geniuses here. Yesterday, I think I spoke about what Mr. Kadyrov was talking. You let them go in, and while they advance like a blitzkrieg, their attack will narrow down, and then you just, as they advance, you just cut them from behind. If that's what it is, Kadyrov, you saved the day. You and I saved the day. Let's see what else he has to say, because he's very thoughtful. Details. Kadyrov also claimed that Russia was trying to minimize human casualties. He added that if he could, he would implement martial law throughout the country and used all kinds of armament. What are you thinking of? Used all kinds of armament. Like what? Earlier, after the successful counteroffensive of Ukrainian forces in Kharkiv Oblast, Kadyrov criticized the strategy of the Ministry of Defense of Russia. Strategy is in quote-unquote, in quotation marks, Ministry of Defense of Russia, and claimed that he would, I'm quoting, contact the Russian government in order to explain the situation to them if there were no changes on the front. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's true what Kadyrov said. This is one of the things, seem to be the most obvious ones in this circumstance. If you did not retreat because the enemy pushed you back, then you did it with a plan. What could be the plan? Deplete the enemy's forces, spread their army. In this case, I don't think it's spreading because it's a focused counteroffensive. But when you focus some army in one spot, obviously you take from other places. So that means those are weak over there, because you didn't have all this army staying somewhere, drinking vodka and playing cards somewhere in the Kiev area or the border with Poland. So these guys were on the territory, were on the defense line. So in order for you to be able to do this, you can't do it with the people with your army, your infantry, that you have it over there. Otherwise, you would have done it before. So obviously, you took armies from other, units from other fronts, other areas where you probably did your homework and you looked, okay, what do the Russians have in those areas? You're not going to take, units from a strong point, Russian strong point, because they're going to invade right there. I mean, they're not idiots either. So I'm assuming that their intelligence still is, functional. So then if you take those from there, you take it from areas where you kind of balance the power between your forces and the enemy's forces. So in case of an attack from the Russians, you are able to keep them at bay. And if you took those, if you have those resources, and you don't deplete them to a point where you endanger your defenses, and you bring them here, then you pinpoint rapidly. You go, but the further you go, because you don't go like this, you can't. You don't have this many people. You go like this, and then as you advance fast, this narrows, and then when it narrows, then the other guy can come and hit it on the sides. This is what the German was afraid when they did their blitzkrieg against the French, and they went through the northern area. They avoided the Maginot Line, the French defensive infrastructure, all that they built over there. They went through Belgium and Netherlands and so on, and they advanced so fast that the advancing troops, tanks, they had to stop and wait for the ammunition and other supply lines that are behind them, so they don't thinner this advancement. Now I don't know if that's what it is. That's why I said give it 3 days. Well, we are almost about the third day. I haven't heard anything about the offensive or counteroffensive still being in full swing. Why did I say that? It's like you shoot in the water. Well, the bullet goes at first fast, but then it encounters, it loses velocity as it encounters more and more and more of the enemies. And probably you're afraid, as I said, to leave behind your supply lines, and then what are you going to do? You risk of being cut, as Kadyrov also observed. So I haven't heard anything major happening over there, but maybe it's just me. I'll keep you posted as soon as I find anything fantastic. I think it's going to be about three days, but we'll find out. Tomorrow is the third day, let's say. Maybe today over there. If we don't hear anything by tomorrow, it's possible that this velocity or the attack lost velocity and then is just going down, because you can't sustain it unless you have unlimited units to supply you and keep pushing. Where do they get those from? Well, all of a sudden just cloned some? No. I mean, that's a limit, and they take it from the other areas, deplete those areas, those points, those axes. Well, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.